There's a field of boulders in Pennsylvania that ring like church bells when you hit them with a hammer. Geologists have been testing them since the 1800s and still cannot tell you why. There is a spot in Canada's Arctic where the ground has been on fire for longer than recorded human history. And then there's something underneath the Central African Republic, a distortion in the Earth's magnetic field larger than France that NASA has detected from orbit, and nobody can explain what caused it. Part 2, I'm Olivia, let's go. The Ringing Rocks of Bucks County, Pennsylvania. There is a field of boulders there, mostly a basalt-like rock called diabase, and when you hit them with a hammer, they ring like a bell. Like properly ring. A doctor named J.J. Ott performed a full concert on them in 1890. Scientists say it has something to do with internal stress in the rock. The boulders are in a state of slight tension that lets them vibrate freely, but here's the issue. Lots of rocks are diabase. Lots of rocks are under stress. Most of them do not ring. What specifically creates the acoustic properties here, and only here, has not been confirmed. A science outlet published a piece on this in early 2026 and basically said, still no answer. The Mima Mounds of Washington State, just south of Olympia, there are thousands of perfectly dome-shaped earthen mounds, 6 to 8 feet high, up to 100 feet across, packed across the landscape as far as you can see. Scientists have been arguing about these since at least the 1800s. Current competing theories: pocket gophers built them over centuries, or wind-deposited sediment around old vegetation in a mathematical pattern, or ice age frost polygons, or seismic activity shaped them. National Geographic ran a piece in 2024 literally titled, "Will We Ever Solve the Mystery of the Mima Mounds?" So I think we can take that probably as a no. And here's the part that complicates the gopher theory further. Similar formations have been documented on multiple continents, including in parts of South America and Southern Africa, which means either the same geological process independently repeated itself across the entire planet, or something else is going on. Moodus, Connecticut, which isn't even its real name. The Wangang people, who were Algonquin, called the area Machimudus, which translates directly to place of noises. Before any European settlers arrived in 1662, people in this region were already documenting mysterious underground booms and roars that shook the ground and rattled walls. Not a volcanic area, not a major earthquake zone. Scientists today attribute it to tiny microseismic events under a specific fault beneath the town. What they can't explain is why this fault produces audible, house-shaking booms when microseismic activity of the same magnitude elsewhere just produces undetectable vibration. Seismologists were still actively recording and studying the noises as recently as 2024. The Native American naming tradition pushes the documented history of these sounds back further than any seismograph we've ever built. The place was so famous for the noises that people named it after them centuries ago, and they're still happening today. Once per year, on the night of the October full moon at the end of Buddhist Lent, balls of reddish light rise up from the surface of the Mekong River near Nong Khai, Thailand, quietly. No explosion, just reddish pink orbs, roughly egg-sized, floating 20 to 50 feet in the air and then vanishing. Hundreds of them, sometimes thousands, always this one night and always that one stretch of river. The scientific theory is that methane or phosphine gas from decomposing organic material at the riverbed spontaneously ignites. Problems with that? There's no confirmed ignition source. Nobody has reproduced this in controlled conditions, and this specific combination of factors exists in other rivers. Scientists have been promising a proper measurement study for years. Every October it happens again. Every year there's still no confirmed explanation. The Naga is a giant serpent from Buddhist tradition, believed to inhabit the river. I'm not saying the giant serpent is doing it, I'm just saying that science has not ruled that out, so something to consider. This volcano has 3 crater lakes at its summit. Each one sits in a completely separate crater. Right now, one of them is black, one is turquoise, and one is dark green. Except those colors change, with no warning, on no schedule, to red, white, brown, and back again. Independently, each lake changes on its own without affecting the others. Scientists say volcanic gases and minerals reacting in the water are responsible, and that's partially true and completely inadequate as an explanation. Nobody has predicted a color change. Nobody has confirmed why 3 lakes on the same volcano maintain completely different chemical identities rather than converging toward the same composition. A 2025 analysis noted that current models can account for some of the colors some of the time, which is not a solved problem. The local belief is that the lakes hold the souls of the dead, which is a theory I respect for having more specificity than minerals, probably. This is the only volcano on Earth that erupts carbonatite lava. Every other active volcano on the planet erupts silicate lava at around 1,100 to 1,200 degrees Celsius. Only this one erupts at 500 to 600 degrees. Still way more than hot enough to kill you, but cool enough that at night it barely glows. The fresh lava comes out black and looks like liquid tar, and within hours of hitting the air it absorbs moisture and turns white. It flows like water because of how thin it is. Scientists know the lava's chemical composition. What they haven't confirmed is the deep geological process that produces it at this one specific point on Earth, and why nothing else like it exists anywhere. And in early 2026, a paper was published specifically using this volcano to try and explain mysterious features on Mercury, because the conditions here might match what happened on another planet. They are using this volcano to understand Mercury, because what it does on this planet is still not fully understood on this planet. The southeastern shore of Hudson Bay in Quebec, Canada is a nearly perfect circular arc. Not sort of circular, geometrically, measurably, almost perfectly circular, stretching 450 kilometers and covering more than 160 degrees of a circle. For decades, the main theory was that this was an ancient meteorite impact crater, possibly one of the largest in Earth's history. Then papers came out saying no, it was formed by a continental collision event 1.8 billion years ago. Then other papers pushed back on that. NASA's Earth Observatory highlighted it in November 2022 because, as they put it, nobody has given a definitive answer. Today there is genuinely no scientific consensus on what carved a 450-kilometer wide perfect circle into the edge of North America. It has been sitting there in Canada this entire time. I feel like we should have figured this out. 4 miles of river running through the middle of the Peruvian jungle, reaching temperatures of up to 194 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything that falls in, frogs, insects, the occasional small mammal that wanders too close, is cooked. A geothermal river of that scale should set next to a volcano. The nearest active volcano is approximately 700 kilometers away. Scientists believe heat is escaping along deep fault lines from somewhere far underground, but the specific heat source sustaining a 4-mile near boiling river in the middle of the Amazon has never been confirmed. It should not exist by the rules of where geothermal activity is supposed to happen, and yet here it is, just boiling away out there in the jungle, regardless of what we think about it. No thank you, I don't need that. On the Arctic coastline of the Northwest Territories, the cliffs are on fire, and they have been on fire continuously for as long as anyone has been recording. The cliffs contain layers of sulfur-rich lignite, which is a soft type of coal, and when the rock erodes and exposes fresh material, the air itself ignites. No lightning needed, no human, the rock just encounters oxygen and goes. The fire produces sulfur dioxide, which dissolves in the rainwater and drains into the bay, making the nearby ocean one of the most acidic marine environments in the Arctic. And then in April 2026, Natural Resources Canada published research connecting the specific mineral chemistry of the smoking hills to what scientists think ancient Mars once looked like. They are using actively burning Arctic cliffs as a model for past habitability on another planet, because the conditions here, self-igniting, sulfur-rich, perpetually burning might match what Mars had billions of years ago. The cliffs are still on fire, they were on fire before this sentence, and they are still on fire now. Something is wrong with the Earth in Central Africa. The Bangui magnetic anomaly is a distortion in the planet's magnetic field centered on the Central African Republic. It is roughly 700 kilometers wide and 1,000 kilometers long, larger than France. Compasses behave incorrectly over it, aircraft instruments are affected. It was detected from space. NASA measured it from orbit in 1977 because you can see it from orbit. On the ground, the magnetic field in this region is dramatically stronger than the surrounding geology should produce. Scientists have two competing theories. Theory one is that something hit the Earth here billions of years ago, a massive ancient meteorite impact, so enormous it deeply embedded highly magnetized material into the crust. The case was made seriously in a peer-reviewed paper. Theory two is deep crustal rock formations are producing the magnetic signature through a process that's still being modeled. So, to summarize, there may be the remnant of a planet-altering meteorite buried under an entire continent, or something else just as large. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Levi Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Bye!